Okay, so our next question is about tides. So hopefully you have some idea or experience with tides. The tides, of course, um, go up and down. So the water level at a certain place is goes up and down, depending on what time of the month it is, with the lunar cycles and things like this. So, um, but tides are obviously an important thing, especially out in on the coast, because we need to know about the tides to know how much water is going to be where we're at. So here's an example or a picture here of how drastic some of the tides are. So here's a cool picture. This is from the Bay of Fundy. So these are taken on the same day, just at high tide and low tide. And look how much lower the water level is. And you need to be aware of this, right? Because here's this guy's boat here, which is fine, you can get into and sail away. But a couple hours later, at low tide, there's no way that boat's going anywhere. So, and this is not like this is a natural picture. This is not like over 2 or 3 days or something. This happens within the hours. High tide and low tide during the same day. It's quite remarkable. So there's lots of pictures on the internet if you wanted to find out more information about that. So the data that I have is from Capeston in New Brunswick, and it says on one day in October the tides have a high point of 10 meters, and the high point is at 2 p.m. and a low point 8 hours, or sorry, more than 8 hours, 6 hours, 6.25 hours later. The low point is 1.2 meters. So that's quite a range, having 10 meters depth of water to 1.2 meters of depth of water. So we're going to talk about Julio, who has a sailboat and has a draft of 2 meters. So for starters, what is a draft? Well, a draft is this. It's this part of the graph right here. So the draft is this part that's underneath the water. Now, of course, the keel and the hull are all underneath the water, but there's on sailboats especially, there's this extra long piece that's down the bottom that, and you can see another piece over here that is well below the surface. That part is called a draft. So that part, if you wanted to actually sail the boat out of the water, you got to make sure you got at least that much water to be able to sail. We can see at the low point we're euchred, right? So this means that it can only move in water that is at least 2 meters deep. It has to have at least 2 meters deep. The captain of the sailboat plans to exit the harbor at 6:30. Can he exit safely? So this is an interesting question. So let's do the math really quickly and see if we can figure this out. So we only have a little bit of information. We're going to have to make all of our conclusions based on this small little bit of information. So we've got our information here, and we're going to use this chart. I'm going to pretend this is like 0. We'll call it noon or 0 o'clock. Okay, and then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, so that'd be 2 hours. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, which is about when he's going to leave. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and we're going to, be out of water then. And our scale, I'm just going to pick something easy. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we're going to have to go 2, 4, 6. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. All right. So what information do I know? Well, I know how much is there at the highest point at 2 o'clock. So this is 2 o'clock, and it says it's got 10 meters of water. So there we are. And then at 8:15, so 8.25, we're at the lowest point, which is 1.2. So it's right about there. That's all the information we have. But we do know that tides behave in a cyclic manner. So we know that this is the highest point, so it's going to be up like this, and it's going to come down to this lowest point, and then it's going to go off like that. So that's all the information we have. And our question is, of course, when is the graph going to be at at least 2 meters, so right here. Okay, so that's what I'm interested in.